What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Mint City Soccer Show. I'm one of your hosts, David Gusler, and I have my other co-host tonight. We're getting back into the swing of things. We had our preseason, we had our off-season, we're getting there, but Matt, welcome back. Welcome to your show. How are you?
Oh, it's just my show now. It's good to be here with you.
Yeah, man. It's been a little while. I had me and Corey had our one random hibernation episode back in like January. And then we decided to take a second hibernation, take like 2 or 3 more weeks off of work. Yeah. And then now we're actually in the month of February and it's soccer season.
It is.
Soccer season's right on us.
It's back. So, it's back.
MLS is back. No, that's the wrong year. Sorry, y'all. Throwback hashtag to COVID tournament. But yeah, man. So welcome back. We've got a few things to talk about since the last episode that were some updates across the league, and Charlotte FC had some implications there a little bit, but we also have a lot of fan Q&A. So we're going to go through a few bullet points here. Nothing too earth-shattering in news when it comes to Charlotte FC, but we'll do that, go through some questionnaire, and then we'll do some hot takes, as Corey put it in the chat, for the upcoming kit release for tomorrow. But we'll talk through that here in a little bit. So Swift, so since the last time you were here, there was a few moves for Charlotte FC from a roster wise. Ironically, me and Corey were talking about the midfield and what could happen with some players moving around here and there. And then, of course, the next day after we released the episode, Petkovic was put on loan to the Seattle Sounders. So that frees up a youth designated U22 incentive spot for Charlotte FC. What do you think that signals for? I mean, obviously signals him leaving the organization and quote unquote may not see a future here. But what does that do for the roster build, and what does that free up for Charlotte FC?
Well, I think it was a player that Dean just was not going to utilize. I think that was very clear.
That's pretty clear when he gets like 2 minutes. Yeah.
So it's a good opportunity for him to go to a really good organization and see what happens. And he's on loan, so he can technically always come back. And maybe he'll have a, kind of a breakthrough year, or at least get some game experience. And then we'll see what happens. There's a lot that's going to be going on after this season, and even during the summer. So I think it's good if he's not going to be part of the plans, at least this year, then it's good that he can go to a really good organization and see what he can do there.
Hopefully he kills it enough to be like, oh yeah, I remember that guy. He's pretty good, but not enough to be like, damn it, why didn't we keep this guy on our roster? So
yeah. Well, I mean, there's a part of me that kind of wants that, because I do want to know the thought behind why he's not playing. Because is it a train?
Sure.
And we've talked about this on the show. Is it a training thing? Because when he's actually out on the field, he looks somewhat decent, and I say he was better than some of the folks that one of the people that's still on this team and one that has departed the team. But so I'm very kind of curious the thought process there. But again, still technically a Charlotte FC player, just on loan.
Yeah, that frees up a U22 designated position for Charlotte as well now, right? So did they backfill that, or do you think they just kind of roll with it to see what happens with him in Seattle this season? Because there is always the chance they terminate the loan, right? And he comes back to Charlotte and takes that roster spot back up.
Yeah, I think there's a lot at play here. I think, and we'll talk about where we are roster wise, but we always know that we make moves in the summer. And there's still some potential, there could be some news next week or so before we kick off the season about, maybe people are moved up, maybe we get another player in. So lots to determine. We'll see summertime. I'm curious about the summer.
So speaking of summer, transition. That was a perfect transition segue there, Swift. So one of the things that was announced since the last episode was that MLS officially announced the adaptation of extending the summer window to match the European summer window. So I wanted to get your thoughts, because I know in years past, there's been little side comments. I wouldn't say side comments, but it's kind of like statements or comments made by Zoran and other organizations throughout MLS that are kind of like, hey, if we had another week or two, or if this was perfectly aligned, just like Europe, we could have gotten player X, or we could have sold player Y. What's the implications here for the upcoming summer window? Like, what do fans have to look forward to now, come 6 months from now, when that summer window opens back up, now that it's aligned with the European window?
It helps us negotiate better. And I'll kind of give you a scenario. So say I'm a player and you're my agent, right? We're trying to get top dollar for us, right? You want to get paid. I certainly want to get paid as the player. And so say you have Charlotte FC, and then you have a team in Europe that you're kind of, and this is how the game is played. You play those teams against each other, right? And you try to see and extend the negotiations because you're just going to get more money, and there's a bidding war, right? But if we're, short a week, we kind of miss out on that very end. And we see this every year. A lot of these deals literally come down to the last day, last hour of the window. So this helps us, I think, negotiate wise and stay in the negotiations longer, and gives us a shot at the end where maybe we wouldn't, because a player can hold out, right? And get all the way down to the end. And then that's when people start panicking and maybe overpay a little bit or pay a little more. So I think this just helps us be a little more competitive that way.
And it's also kind of setting the stage for that change of season too, right? You've got the change of season after the World Cup, where you're going to have kind of that shortened, abridged season. And then it fully transitions to a season that's kind of the same, but starts a different time of the year, but it matches more the European window. With our season, with that space as well too. So I think Zoran's made it pretty clear. I think he's been very vocal about wanting to have that window extended, because he probably could have made another deal or two out there in the past. So I'm excited to see what he gets to cooking with this next window, potentially in the summertime. So one of the players that's come up a little bit, I know we didn't talk about it since you weren't on the last show, but we talked about Leo Abada and that wing position. And since the show's been announced, Cambridge got, I think, either put on loan or sold. I can't remember exactly what it was, so apologies if you want to correct me in the comments.
He was sold.
He was sold. Okay. So he was sold. There's Leo Abada has been kind of the talk a little bit during the past few months about what his future is like for Charlotte FC. Does he get sold? Does he stay? There was, conversations apparently during the last window about some championship level teams in England that were interested in him, but Charlotte didn't want to let him go because they didn't really have a backup plan or a player to, promote or get his minutes and be as impactful. So, what do you? I want to get your thoughts on what do you expect to see from Leo Abada, and then, do you think there's a chance that Charlotte moves on from him now, or do you think we're kind of rolling with him until the summer window?
I think because of depth-wise, he'll be here till the summer. And I think that's when you have the opportunity to replace him. And I think one of the reasons why we stuck with him, Vargas was starting over Abada, right? But you do have to have someone that could come in for Vargas. So I think they, lack of depth. And now, especially, you still have that lack of depth because of some of the people that you've moved on. And so I think you try to give Abada a couple of months at the beginning of the season to see how he's going to do. And then you get to the summer, and then you can make a move, because, again, that's when most of the teams are making deals. And you're not so much in a panic. And also, too, he could catch fire. I don't know. We've kind of said that a lot, and I know last year when we were doing our preseason thing, we were all talking about Abada and how that had to be his breakout year, and it was very disappointing. But I think this year, you get to the summers, you need some depth, and then you kind of see where you are at that time. And I'm sure Zoran and the front office have some irons in the fire in that regard. But we'll see. And you want to get decent money for him. You don't want to just take a huge loss. The team made some good money on Malanda and Patrick, so good there. But we'll see. I'm interested how Abada does this season, kind of losing his place, and see if he can fight back in what he does.
Are you concerned at all about the depth at the wing position? Because now you transferred out Cambridge. You've got Vargas and Abada kind of at that right wing position. And then you've got Zaha and Tiger Smalls as someone that kind of filled in there. And then after that, it's kind of what's next, right? Mm-hmm. So, what are you concerned at all from that? And then we'll talk about another position that I have some questions on too.
Yeah, it's a good point. So you think about this, you need to have a starter and a backup, right? At whatever position. So say you have Zaha on one side, Vargas on the other. So your subs, if you need them, would be Tiger Smalls, Lil Abada. So, I mean, you're pretty covered there, right? Is that enough? Probably not. There might be some moves coming this week, by the way. I think we'll promote some Crown Legacy folks. But as far as like being really concerned about depth, unless someone gets injured pretty early in the first couple games, I'm okay with that. Again, especially, like I said, you got Zaha, you got Vargas, and then subs Abada, Tiger Smalls. Oh, and then
I just don't want to get into the.
Oh, and also too, let me throw this in there too. You got Pep Biel, right? You could at a certain point move him out wide if you need. So that's also
Luka up.
Yeah, you've got some wiggle room too. And I want to say this before I really forget. You have to take Pep as a new signing. He was a loan player. He could have very easily left our organization. He is signed now to us. He was out for months. So he's kind of like, for me, like a new signing this window. I think people don't probably see it that way, but that's how I see it. But he could be an option out wide.
Yeah, I just don't want to get into a situation like we did last year with left back and right back where our starters are good. But then if an injury happens, the level of play is such a stark difference. Like, no offense to Tiger Smalls, but like if Zaha's out for a while and then your option is to start Lil Abada or Tiger Smalls, like the production value drops significantly, which I just expectations for me this year is pretty high. So like I know we'll talk about predictions a little bit later, but like I just don't want to get into a situation where we're running, and we'll talk about right back again here in a little bit, but
sure.
I just don't want to run into a situation where one injury can derail the entire attack potentially moving forward.
Yeah, it's always a risk. I think I'm okay for right now. And like I said, I think we'll promote some folks up. So we'll have a little more depth, but I get your concern about the fall off. And I think you're right. I think you're right there.
Because I mean, like we've done a really good job, I think, overall of elevating the depth pieces in our roster for the most part. Like you think about the midfield, you've got Brant Bronico here, and then you've got Luca Del Torre now coming in line. So now you're elevating either 1A or option 1A or 1B. You've got Archie Goodwin now and Toklamati up top. You've got Pep Biel or Luca Del Torre is there. We've done a good job of elevating some of these players out there. I just don't want us to have that May-June spell like we did last year that could derail a season. Yeah,
I mean it's a good point. I think we're a little better off than what we may seem. I think the lack of I think the amount of people that left and the amount of signings coming in, I think worries people. But again, we're going to be promoting people up. That's going to bolster the squad. And then we lost Malanda. Other than that, we have the same squad. Yeah. And now they have another season to play with one another. I think we bolstered the midfield better and got rid of some folks that I think we should have.
Well, and think about Wilfred Zaha now too. He's when he came to us last year, he was coming off of hardly playing at all for almost a year and a half to now having a full season under his belt, playing internationally, and then coming into preseason in form compared to where he was a year and a half ago. So that instantly, I think he'll come out of the gates a little bit better. I mean, I don't know if he does or not. He may not have another kid coming along the next 30 days. You know what I mean? So there's some benefits for sure where we're at compared to last year. So, but on that note, one of the things that I wanted to ask is center back and right back kind of depth pieces a little bit. So we got Tofolo from last year, or as I think what was the announcer on the preseason game pronouncing as Tofolio or something like that.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But so we got Tofolo, and then I forgot the signing we got from DC United.
Oh,
that is depth at left back as
David
well.
Schnegg.
Thank you. Yeah. So he's a depth piece there. We got Kessler right at center back. We got Ream at center back. We got Privet at center back.
Yeah.
And then at right back, you got Nathan Byrne, and then behind Nathan Byrne, you kind of have who?
Jack Neely. Jack Neely.
So, but he was a center back for us as depth last year, right?
He played right back at Crown Legacy, but he can play. He can move around, but right back. So that will probably be who Nathan Byrne. That will be his backup.
I just don't want Jack Neely to be thrown into a position like Nick Scardina, and then all of a sudden Matt Swift is on here for 8 weeks going, "Damn you! Why is this the case?"
Yeah, and I will. So if that happens and our defense struggles, I will be on here again saying, "What are we doing now?" Now here we are again. But I don't think that we're gonna get there, because the problem is you had that issue on the right hand side and on the left hand side at the same time. This year you have Harry, and then you've got you got Schnegg on the other side. If you got Harry and David, if one of those goes down, the fall off is not as great, and you don't have just wild inexperience out there like we did when we had Ruddy and Scardini on the other side.
Speaking of Ruddy, did you see the news that
I did.
New York Red Bulls bought him? So
yeah, and honestly, like if we would have kept him for depth, I would have been okay with that. Just starting, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I just have to say this. It was really funny that on MLS Soccer Reddit, a lot of the Toronto fans, I swear to God, it was Matt Swift in disguise, because they're putting in there to like, whoever's signing Ruddy needs to figure out what position he's going to play, because he can't defend worth of anything, and he also can't attack for anything. So what is he going to be doing on the wing? So it's kind of like, I was like, it's Matt Swift all over again. Well, but no, I'm just
Montreal did not like him, and really just did not know what they were going to do with him. So maybe I hope he doesn't do too well, because we'll be playing against him. But
twice. Yeah, it'd be great. Well, Swift, we got a lot of questions here, man. I was scrolling through this. I was like, it's not that bad. I was like, oh God, no, we've got a lot. So ready to power through some of these? Some of these are some good questions. So we'll get started here. So first one, and maybe this is part of the thing that you were talking about, but Matt Jones puts in there, been watching some, and I'm going to butcher this, so apologies. Been watching some Aloko highlights, and he seems like a 1-for-1 backup for Vargas. His style of play is to hug the line and makes crosses. Not as much to see defensively on the highlights, so not sure on the aspect, but he seems capable. And again, forgive me. With Uchegbu, probably butchered that wrong. Help me out here, Swift. So the face tells me everything that I need to know. How do you say it, Swift?
No, you're good. You're good. Keep going. You got it.
Oh, God.
You got it.
He's in a similar role, but a much more dynamic player. Reminds me of Zaha statistically. I really think they're deciding to decide between a DP center back with these young guys that are winger depth, or going for a DP winger. What do you guys think? In MLS, is it better to have 8 out of 10 players coming out from your second team, or a 10 out of 10 player as a DP? So he goes, I suppose that the answer could differ by position, but he wants to get your thoughts.
Well, we can't sign a DP, right? Aren't all the slots filled?
Yes, currently, unless we sell Abada.
Yeah, which I don't think. Never say never, but I don't think that's going to happen between now and,
or when Zaha's loan ends in the summertime, depending on what.
Yeah, that's the summer. And if you lose Zaha, it's a no-brainer that you would have to get some type of attacking
winger
DP. Yeah. But yeah, like I was mentioning, I didn't want to name names yet, because things can change. But it looks like some folks from Crown Legacy are going to move up, and we might have another Agamang on the squad too. So he might.
Yeah, I saw that during the preseason.
Might be another one. So again, like we're investing in youth, and that gives us depth. I know that it's not a sexy signing, but the thing is, like, other than center back, I like Vargas. I like Zaha. Up top, do you like Tokolomati? Do you like Archie or no? I guess that would be a question. And then in the center, like, we signed someone pretty good. We still have Brant Bronico. We still have Westwood. We still have Gianni. So, I mean, I think, and then we have Pep Biel, right? I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like we have a pretty solid squad. We haven't, other than Malanda, we really haven't, like I said, lost anybody crucial. So, I don't know.
But not to discredit Malanda. That's a pretty significant
for sure
player to leave.
But here,
right? And so do you think Kessler is the type of player that's going to be able to backfill that? Or do you think a 39, 40-year-old Ream is going to be able to maintain form throughout
I don't
year?
know that Kessler starts.
So you think Privet would start?
Maybe. And here's the thing. Let's go back to before we had Scardinia and Ruddy as our fullbacks. I think a lot of people would agree that Privet did pretty good at center back until he had those fullbacks out there with him. Then he did not play well. So the club knows what they're getting with Privet. I think he's still a solid center back. So depending on form, I think it might be Ream and Privet. And they've been giving Privet the captain's armband. But that doesn't mean that can't switch or things can change. I mean, we're still a couple weeks out. But yeah, to your point, it's a huge, massive loss. But all things considered, you still have the same squad. But now you have Pep back, who we didn't have for months, right? And then you got rid of some other folks in the midfield, and you have Luca now. That gives you some different looks and different options. So yeah, I feel pretty good about it. And again, we say this every year. Get to the summer, see what you need, make adjustments like we always do, and we always do. And so see what happens after that.
On a scale of 0 to 10, how bad did I butcher those names, Swift?
The first one I thought you did, I don't know, I think you did okay. I think you did all right.
Okay, I'll take it. Whatever. Eric Kill is probably celebrating in the car listening to this episode that you just talked about Privet there. So just want to shout that out because he's been banging that drum for months. So so let's see here. So Thomas Hughes, drum extraordinaire, mentioned some of the questions we talked about earlier about right back. So he just says, and maybe we'll just reiterate this a little bit, but do you believe we're still looking to add depth at right back? Who do you see being next up behind Byrne? He missed significant time last year, isn't getting any younger. Maybe I'm missing something, but I don't see a specific right back on the roster. And that could be concerning if we're scrambling again, like with the JMR loan. So I think you touched on that. Anything else you'd add to that?
Yeah, again, I think it's going to be probably Jack Neely, and he's played some minutes for us. And if the club didn't think he was worth it, he probably wouldn't even be on Crown Legacy anymore because he's been around for a little bit. And then, again, I think you get to the summer, if there's an injury, if something happens, then we'll kind of bolster the squad from there. But there's some big questions come summertime, and two of those are Abada and Zaha. And I think that will dictate a lot of what we do or don't do.
Well, and think about too, like, I know we had our friend of the show, Jose from Philly on here. And what was it, like a year and a half ago, we brought on a guy from Philadelphia that was all about developing talent and promoting from the roster, very much like the Union. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like that's what we could be doing again with the Legacy, correct?
Yeah, and that's kind of what you want and why you set this up, right? You have folks that can, move up, get experience in the lower level, and then move up to the first team and really make a go of it and bolster your squad. You might have a breakout player, or you might just have a solid depth piece person. I think Crown Legacy for us has been tremendous so far. And I'd like to see that keep going. And I think the guys that will be moving up, I think are quality. And again, not a sexy signing. We're not getting them from outside the organization, but do you have to if they're worth it and they know the system and know the coach and know the players?
So this one's more of a rumor, and I don't know. We usually don't talk about rumors, but figured it'd be just a fun one to see if you get riled up and want to throw your microphone through the computer screen or not. But I saw this on Instagram, and then Will also posted it from a Twitter account. We all know those are two very, very keen places to get facts all the time. He says, if this random Twitter account is correct and Dean is on the verge of leaving us right before the season starts, who would you want to look at for the team for a replacement? So the at sportsboom.com, again, not a very reliable source here, says exclusive.
Oh my God.
Charlotte FC boss Dean Smith could be set to return to English football. Championship clubs are circling like Blackburn Rovers, Watford, both admirers as as Smith eyes a move back to the EFL. So, one, do you think that Blackburn or Watford are even looking at Dean? And do you think Dean would even entertain that offer? That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I think teams like that are always looking for managers because they're always firing managers and looking at other managers to come in. And a lot of times news across the pond, I will say, is very salacious and over the top.
Salacious. That's a good word.
They love a good rumor or just make up rumors because they need some clicks and stuff. I tell you what, though, if Dean leaves right before the season starts, I'll be pissed at him. I'll throw that out there now. I don't think you do that. I mean, we're in preseason, so I don't see him leaving, and if he does, I will not be pleased. Yeah.
Well, just so you're aware, there's multiple people in Discord that agree with you that they don't see him leaving. So if you're not in our Discord, hint, hint, wink, wink, join our Patreon, get in there, have that conversation. Matt T-Gang Chantry gave a nice little synopsis about how Blackburn is just a shithole of ownership and whatever. So anyways, but so this next question comes from Opa. So Richard says, and this one's pretty funny. We lost 0-1 to San Jose. Is there any way we can salvage the season? According to authorities on Facebook, we're doomed. So, Swift, did you watch the preseason game? What did you take away from it? Is our season doomed after losing 0-1 and then beating Phoenix 2-1 the next game?
Yeah, I didn't get to watch the game, but I never care too much about scores in the preseason, whether we win or lose. It's more of like, who was playing, who got minutes, who didn't, who's looking good. Because it really doesn't matter. You could win every single game and then not do well in the regular season. So I don't put too much stock in it. And actually, I kind of like us losing a game here and there. It kind of keeps us honest, in my opinion. But we've seen preseason means nothing, compared to what happens to our season. So I am okay, but we do always have a section of fans that, want to get riled up and claim that we don't sign anybody and we don't do this and don't do that. But it seems to work out okay in the end.
I agree. So, even Dean was like, we were trying things out in the game.
Yeah, so, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our friend Russell, aka Rusty Varner, says he's got a few of these. Is this the year Brant Bronico becomes a primary backup option / super sub, or do you still see him starting this season?
That's a really good question. If the midfield stays healthy, I think Bronico will lose some minutes because I say that because I think the way Dean wants to play, Bronico may lose some minutes. But We have seen time and time and time again now that Bronico finds a way to get on the field. Now, a couple of things this year. Ashley Westwood, this may be his last season. So I don't know if he's going to be playing every game. So there is some potential for Brant not to just directly be in competition with Luka. It could be that Brant moves back some and you see Brant and Luka. You could see Luka and Westwood. You could see Westwood and Brant, and then have Pep in there. So, and again, if we move Pep out wide because of injuries, then that could free up some things. So, never say never with Brant. I hate to say, yay, he's going to lose minutes or not start anymore, but I think people have been saying that since year one, and it keeps being out there.
Here we are, year 5.
Yeah.
So, I'm always going to vouch for my boy Brant. So,
yeah,
he always steps up every year and always gets minutes. So, I love it. This is an interesting one here because I saw this on Reddit, of course, again. He also says, we have, I believe, one of the oldest rosters in MLS. Mm-hmm. So when you look at the rankings, we're the second highest by like 0.1. Do we finally start to see a rotation from guys like Westwood and Byrne, which you just talked about? Why or why not?
I don't know if you'll see rotation with Byrne, but you could see rotation with Westwood, especially when we get into some of the mid-season, cup ties and everything like that. But we'll see. We'll see how Westwood feels. If this is his last season, he may not want to sit. But as far as the age,
I was gonna say, man, if I knew it was my last year ever playing, I'd be like, I'm gonna play as much as I possibly can.
Yeah,
but that's just me. But.
And then if we promote some of these younger guys up, that age might go down some. But I mean, I feel like there's been this misconception that we always have an old team, and that really hasn't been the case this year. Yes, so far we do have an older team. I think I don't have it in front of me, but it's like 26 years and something.
It's like 27 something, I think, based off the rankings. I'll have to look it up.
I thought it was like 26, but
I could be wrong.
I think there's one other team that has an older roster than us, and it's like LA Galaxy, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, but we'll see how that shifts during the season.
I've got it pulled up here. Sorry, it's loading here. So we're 26.29.
Okay,
the oldest is Houston Dynamo at 27.
Okay, yep. All right, there you go.
I mean, if you take Tim Ream out of the equation, you're going to drop by like 2 years. So.
Well, I mean, you got you got Westwood, you got Tim.
Westwood, Ream, Harry, Byrne.
Yeah, I mean, we have experience.
Kalina's getting there.
We got experience on the team. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, and think about too, like this is our 5th year heading into the season. We've developed and have some guys that's been here for a little while. Yeah. So 4 years into this, they're going to be older than they were 4 years ago. So it's naturally going to happen. But
yeah.
Sorry, I added a year or two to the roster by accident. Sorry, guys, don't get mad at me. So I'm just trying to make myself feel better with my age is what I'm trying to do. So let's see here. He asked about Milanda, but we've already talked about that a little bit too. So let's see here. Keith says, we all want the team to finish first to win the Supporters Shield, but realistically, what does it take to do? What does it take to? Sorry, I'm just trying to read this word. What does it take to make this season successful to you, Swift, in that viewpoint? Man,
I still think that we are right now still a 4th or 5th place team. I think that could change maybe in the summer because I still think, one of our DPs is not starting and he's not an impact player and you're not really getting anything from him. So if that can change and we get somebody else in, that could move my expectations up. But I've said this before, I'm looking for a franchise that gets into the playoffs every year and we're tough to beat. I would like to see us take this next step and have a deeper run into the playoffs, right? We've done a good job of getting in now. Now we got to step it up. And the East, I think, is going to be very weird and interesting this year. So I still think we're going to be around that 4th and 5th right now. But if people stay healthy and Pep can get back in form like he was, and then you have Zaha, we could see maybe like a, 3rd or 4th. But I still think we're missing one big piece.
Let's see here. I'm trying to filter through these and make it have a theme. So we've got some fun questions here I'll save towards the end. Let's see here. So Fat Bird, a.k.a. Donnie, a.k.a. boy band extraordinaire, says, legit question. So I know there's been some rumblings about us doing more in the offseason, but haven't really bolstered the lineup by getting everyone back. We made a couple of additions as well, but I feel like the news lately online has been some bigger names leaving to go from MLS to go to Europe. Aside from Alanda, whom we knew was leaving midway through the season last year, we pretty much kept the team intact. Mm-hmm. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I was saying earlier. Like, other than Malanda, we really haven't lost anybody. And we've actually, I think, gained, especially in the midfield with Luka, which I think is, and I hope is a big improvement over what we had before. And again, I keep coming back to Pep. I see him as a brand new signing. He did so well at the beginning of the season last year, and then got injured, and we had to deal with that, and didn't have him in the playoffs. So that is a DP caliber player who was killing it assist wise in MLS, and was, I think, in the top 5 even a little bit after he was injured and wasn't even playing. He was still up there. So yeah, I'm excited to see what we do, and everybody has played together. So I'm not as, like, oh my gosh, we haven't signed anybody, we're going to be in trouble, all these other teams are signing folks. Again, the big question mark is center back. Who's going to be that pairing? Since we lost Malanda, how good defensively will we be? But again, left and right back we have solid people there now, right? Hopefully no one gets injured, but we do have some pretty good substitutions, at least on the left-hand side. But we'll see.
So Joe and Matt Nolan both had very similar questions, so I'll summarize it. Because you've already talked about the Abada question for Joe, so I'm going to skip that one, Joe. What grade do you give this transfer window? So Matt Nolan said kind of similar, same thing. So he says we're at a C. So where do you see us at? So A, B, C, D, or F? Yeah,
maybe I would say C, because you weren't able to offload Abada, and again I think that's if we can get him out of here and get someone in that is a proper game-changing designated player, that gets us up into the top 3 discussion. So because of that, maybe still a C. But I look at some of the folks we offloaded, I see that as a success. I see the money that we got from Malanda success. And what was not a shock, but again, big hole there to fill defensively. And then we're promoting guys. Well, we should be promoting guys up. So still a little bit to be determined. There's still some time left. But I don't mean that as like, it's just we didn't have a lot of moves per se. But we didn't really have to.
We didn't have a Zaha type signing this window, which I think is okay. You don't have to every single time.
Yeah, and again, we make a lot of moves in the summer, right? I think you see us kind of swing more for the fences there. But we'll see. Summer's going to be interesting.
So I'm trying to filter these because we got a lot of them here. So let's see here. I guess we can transition to this one. So we'll save Chantry's full season prediction for another episode when we have Corey here too. But he says, which CLTFC player will overperform expectations in 26? and which player will underperform expectations in 26? So not your expectations, but the fan base's expectations in general.
Oh my gosh. Underperform?
Yeah. So just think through the lens of the Facebook fan zone group. What do you think their reaction is going to be from an overperformer and an underperformer?
Man, I don't even know who would be like an underperformer. I keep going back to a Bada. Like, is he going to start or not? Which, I mean, are we going to get the hot Kerwin Vargas? Are we going to get past Kerwin Vargas? Maybe. Other than that, I don't know. I really do want to see how Luka integrates into the team and see how he does. And then maybe Pep, see if he gets off to a hot start or he's ice cold. But I don't know. I don't want to be answering like who I think will underperform right now. I don't know.
Well, according to Facebook, sir, everyone underperforms unless they're Messi and they score like 50 goals a season. So you could have said everyone.
Yeah.
You would have been perfectly fine. Awesome. So the next set of questions leads us to the kit release. So let's first talk through the kit release, then I'll ask some of the questions that came up about kits. So unless you've been living under a rock for Charlotte FC. So new kit releases, I think, officially tomorrow. There's a kit release party tomorrow evening. Transparently, I haven't been paying attention to where it's going to be at or anything like that, so I'll let you chime in there. But the every year now moving forward, Charlotte will have a new kit get released because of the way that they fall. So every 2 years, they replace one of the kits. So last year, the kit that I'm wearing right here, the Carolina kit, is retired. So now they have a new kit replacing that one. Next year, the Fortress kit will retire and they'll get a new one. And then it just keeps alternating back and forth, almost as if they plan at Swift to buy new kits every year. But anyway, so there's a new kit coming out. So Swift, what do you want to talk about on that one first? I'll share what Corey said in the chat, is that he wants us to have as much hot takes as we possibly can about the kit before we even see it. So that way he can clip it and replay it for us later and make me look like an idiot like I did with the purple kit. So I'll hand it over to you on that one there, Swift. I should have worn the purple kit just in honor of that, but it's okay.
My favorite thing to see is that, and it's, what year are we in now? 5, right? And we've had how many kits? And seriously, every single time a kit comes out, it gets leaked. And I feel like every single time people are like, ooh, gross, I'm never going to buy that. That's the worst thing I've ever seen. And then literally when it comes out, someone will post a photo of it with them wearing it, or they see it in person. They're like, oh, it looks a lot better in person. Take my money. And then they buy it. So, I feel like that literally happens every single time. And I think, again, it will probably happen with this one. I think it will look better in person. It will look better on someone, like every single training top in Jersey has. But I think, the Explorer kit was awesome. And it's actually, we'll talk about rankings, so I don't want to spoil anything. But a lot of times, home kits are kind of boring. If you kind of look across the league, there's not a lot of change. And I feel like they're going to be kind of the same. It's when you have the away kits and like the third kits is where you can get a little creative and they're a little more funky. But I think people are going to like it. I think, again, they'll say, oh, man, it looks a lot better in person, because they literally do that every time.
Yeah, I've learned my lesson of buying kits full price. So if you buy it full price, no judgment, you do you. Yeah. But because of how frequently they're coming out and how frequently they go on sale 6 months afterwards, I will be waiting.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
I'm a reserve judgment. I'm a reserve judgment on the kit, unlike last time, or not last time, 2 years ago with the purple kit, where I am on here as an idiot blasting it for
you
some
hated it.
stupid ass reason.
Man, it was so funny why you hate it. Like, we're like, why do you hate it so much? You're like, I just do.
just do. Don't quit. It's not a phase, Mom. It's a lifestyle.
It was so funny. It was so funny.
You know what's funny too is that I bought that kit like a year ago. So like 2 years later, they saw the kit out on clearance. I was like, all right, I'll finally buy it. It was like $20. I was like, all right, cool. But
yeah,
on that note, I will be waiting out the kit and waiting for it to go on sale, depending on if I like it or not.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan. Like, let it come out and not pay full price if you're especially not sure. Let you see it on someone or on the field, and then buy it cheaper. That's a good idea.
Yeah. We'll see. But are you going to the kit release? I mean, of course you are, Swift. I'm sure you'll be there.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll be at the team store at 10 a.m. tomorrow and first in line getting it.
You can pick it up at the event tomorrow night. I think you can. Got it. If I'm not mistaken, you could pre-order it and pick it up, but I think you can just buy them there, and then they will have them at the team store Wednesday morning when the team store opens, which is I think 11 a.m.
So on that note, some of the questions came up around kits. So Russell Varner says, because Matt obviously has owned the new kit for months now, what are his thoughts on it? And where does it rank amongst all the kits of all time? In fact, I want him to rank every Charlotte FC kit in team history from worst to best. So excluding the new kit that we haven't quote unquote seen, except for the really shitty photo with Labara logo plastered in the center of it because whatever. Take that kit out of the equation. Rank every Charlotte FC kit that you've owned so far.
Yeah, I was looking at my rack now that has the jerseys on there, and I was trying to do this earlier. So I would say the one that you have on the Explorer kit, I think has become my favorite for multiple reasons. One, I used to have that same screensaver. I think we've talked about that on my computer back in the day. I'm from North Carolina. I lived in the mountains and just it's kind of like the Blue Ridge Mountains. I just like it. I think it's a cool look. And then I would have to say probably the mint jersey, but I almost put the Fortress kit in second because that is one that is really growing on me. I liked it when it first came out, but it's one that I really like wearing. I think just looks sharp and is a really, really cool design. So right now it's third, but that could easily be second. And then I'm going to go with the purple kit. And then I'm going to go with the Lightning kit, which the Lightning kit could move up at a certain point, but Lightning kit. And then our first year kit, just because one, I had the Arsenal kit before that and it's the exact carbon copy. But here's the thing though. So say this new jersey comes out and it's bland and no one likes it and everything like that. But what if we win MLS Cup in it? Then I think, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think you kind of look at jerseys too, and you get a feeling, or you remember something that happened, or, if this new jersey, that's the one that we win it in, has sentimental value to it. I mean, the thing is, like, it kind of makes me sad that our first year kit is my least favorite because it's our first year kit.
Where'd you rank the purple kit at?
1, 2, 3, like fourth. So Explorer kit, Mint kit, Fortress kit, purple kit, Lightning, and then our first year. If we're talking about just design and look and everything like that, I do like the Lightning kit though, so that might move up. But anyway, yeah, our first kit was just so basic, but there's also some attachment there too. So
sure,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I was obviously a very big fan of the Mint kit. I think just because of the coloring and the story behind it and that kind of stuff. But like, Mint kit was very plain and boring, to be very honest with you. If you look at it, there's really nothing extraordinary to it.
You are right.
Same thing for the Carolina kit, the first one, right? So they're both very safe, basic kits. But sometimes that grows on you because it's simple, it's classic, it's whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the kit I have on, the Explorer kit, is probably my favorite. And then I think I would go Mint kit or Fortress kit, kind of 2A, 2B. Like the Fortress kit's definitely grown on me a little bit. just because it's unique, it's different, it's black like the mint kit. So those are like my two, and then it goes lightning kit, classic, the Carolina kit, then the purple kit is probably my least. I mean, purple kit grew on me. I'm not disdaining it. Like I was not disgusted of it anymore. sorry, Joe LeBou and everybody for the stupid ass rants I had.
You got so mad because you were like, "What are we trying to be, the Hornets?" Or like, what? There was like some rationale you were really mad about.
I don't want to. I know what I was saying, but I don't want to bring it up again because it's so idiotic for me to even. I was like, what are we trying to do? Like we're trying to copy Ally Bank as our sponsor, and like it's just so stupid. I was so stupid. It's so stupid. The only thing, the purple kit, the unique thing is the crown patterns. The thing I just don't like about it as much is that the material, because I feel like they had to inlay kind of like that crown texture to it. It feels like it's two kits in one. Like it's not as thin. So I feel like it's a thicker material compared to the other ones.
Interesting. Could be.
So like during those summertime matches, the purple kit feels a lot heavier than especially the Fortress kit. If you feel the Fortress kit and then go to that one, it's like one's a paper towel and the other one's like air. So it's like, I was trying to think of something witty, but I couldn't think of anything witty there. So, but yeah, so it looks like we've got some folks there that are coming there and going to be there with you there, Swift. So that's good. But yeah, I think that's it. We might have some more things to talk about next week, depending on if some announcements, like you were saying, like we might have some players moving up. We can officially review the kit and have you model it for us on the show next week, because I know you'll have it. And Corey and I will not have it because I think he's out of town. He's traveling, and I'm going to be out of town and traveling for work. So you'll be the model for the show. I need you to do like a whole blue steel, Zoolander coming from the left hand side kind of face. Be good.
I think I can do that.
I need it for the gram, sir. I need some content for the gram. Do it for the gram.
Okay.
So
done.
But anything else you want to touch on before we let everyone go? Because this is a little bit of a shorter episode, but
no, I think that's it, man. I think that's a good start. It's we're about to start the season. One thing. Why are we playing St. Louis away again?
I don't know. I don't want to think about us playing St. Louis away. To be honest with you,
they should have had to have played here. Because we played them once. We had to play them away. I still got the scarf over there for that. But yeah, now we're going away again. First game of the season. What's up with that?
Because they heard that you love the ribs there so much that you have to go back and get another Sermenti tattoo with some ribs.
Yeah, there was a rib place that I did go twice to eat. So I will say that. But really I went to St.
That's about it.
Yeah, I went to St. Louis once, and that's about all I need to do. That's about it.
That's about it too. I have no desire to go back anytime soon, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so, but I will say that was an awesome trip. We had a ton of people go, so that was really, really cool. Yeah, we did get tattoos, and if you're thinking about going, and you haven't been, especially if you haven't been to St. Louis, go, because it's good for one trip. The stadium's awesome. The people are friendly. It's a cool.
They do have some cool museums and like few cool, like, I think the World's Fair was there, and they have some cool stuff there from that perspective. But you go there once,
that's all you need. That's all you need. Once is good.
Once is good. It's awesome. So I agree with you there. So awesome, man. Well, quick plug. I know we're going to be starting ramping up again for the soccer season. So if you haven't joined our Discord, a lot of these questions, actually all the questions, came from our Discord this evening. So make sure you join our Patreon. It'll be a link in our podcast feed. Join that. Get in the Discord. We'll be doing soccer and coffee again this season. Mm-hmm. We'll be talking through a few different things throughout the year. So make sure you join up and join the conversation as we start to ramp back up. So Swift, take lots of photos tomorrow.
I will.
Let us know your hot take thoughts, and we'll see everyone next week.
See you guys.